Right, you look, I've got a 10 mile an hour sign here. I'm going to have to put that up on my road, I think, because the speed that people come down this road is ridiculous. But that's not why we're here. We're here because the Kyosho, the legendary, the Kyosho Inferno MP9 has been somewhat out of action for quite some time now. There is currently no engine in her. She's got no wheels on her. So I think it's about time we put that right. We stick an engine in her, put some wheels on her. I think she's got radio gear still, and we'll go from there. Check out this. This is an old camping gas 2-burner camping stove thing. It's old, man. This is 40 or more years old. My dad gave it to me. He had it when he was young. So I'm going to try to restore it. I think I've got the gas bottle for it over there. That's the gas bottle that come with it. They still sell those, so I think I'll either get a new one or I'll get that one refilled. But if you want to see a restoration on this, that'll be on my other channel. So when I start it, I'll be sure to let you lot know, and you can zip over there and have a look. I've been having a little bit of a sort out. I've put the welder, one of the welders, under the bench there because it's broken. I need to repair that, so that's under there, and I found that under there and I thought, brilliant, I'll because I was going to restore that a few years ago, but I never did get round to it. Anyway, let's see, what am I going to do with this? I'm sure a lot of you are probably curious. There's quite a few things I could do, because as you lot know, I do have several different engines that I could potentially put in that MP9. Oh, I must have raided it at some point for something. The receiver's still in there. Oh, I think I raided it to get the battery out, so we've got no battery in there. Don't know where the battery is, to be honest. I can't remember when I put it in now. Everything else is still here though. Just need to put an engine in and an exhaust. So let's take our pick. We've got some engines there, we've got an engine there. Those are just boxes. We have more engines here. We've got a mat. Well, it's not really, it's a blaze. Well, it's just a thing. Got a 3.5 out of a Savage, a hot body's 3.5. The original KE. Oh, we got what engine shall we pick? I'm going to put this back in it. This is the original engine, the KE21. It's what it came with. Oh, we've got no flywheel or clutch though. Oh, that could be a bit of a problem. What can I do here? The flywheel that come with it is on that engine, so I think I'll take that off. I need a bell though, don't I? I have no bell. I have no bell. I'm bellless. Oh, I thought there was a bell up here somewhere, but I can't seem to find any bells. Oh well, let's put a clutch in it. I should have a clutch here somewhere as well. What did I do with the clutch? Oh, look, there's some drive shafts in there. Somewhere in here. FTX clutch. Well, it's an FTX clutch, but it might, I reckon that'll probably fit. That'll probably fit on there. 3-shoe, no reason why that won't fit. I'll put that in there. Then we just need a bell. And that's a bell. It's got no bearings in it, but it's a bell. Don't know what tooth it is. I can put bearings in it, that's no problem. I've got bearings. It doesn't seem to say what tooth it is, but we could always count them, or just not care and just put it in anyway. Exhausts. We have the original one, or this one. This one will go nicely, I think. Put that on there. That'll probably run quite well. Can't see why not. Lovely. Happy with that. In fact, I think this is slightly bigger bore manifold than the original one. I'll measure it in a minute and we'll find out. But I think that's for a 28. This is a 21. So happy days. That might be for a 21. I can't remember now. Anyway, we'll find out. So yeah, that's clearly the one on the right is the exhaust I'm going to put on it. Hopefully we can see. The one on the left is the original standard Kyosho manifold. The one on the right is quite clearly bigger, the inner diameter. is bigger because it's for a 28. This is for a 21. So we'll get increased airflow, we'll get increased performance with any luck. The other carburetor will still be inhibiting it slightly, but we can always rectify that with a bigger carburetor. But nice, that should work pretty well. Pretty happy with that. Alright, so we've got a clutch, got clutch springs. That one's poking out a little bit, but we'll ignore that for now. Should be able to put that on there now. Yep, that will fit on there lovely. It might rub, I might need to put a shim or two, we'll see. We'll get bearings in it and we'll see how low it goes. Alright, there's some shims and some bearings in there, look. I think they're all the same. Stuff that one in there. Lovely. And we'll stuff that one in there. I run the Savage for bloody years and years and years with no bearings in the bell end. And it didn't make any difference whatsoever. Oh, that ain't going to go in there, man. Apart from when I took it to the shop to try and get a pull start for it. He said, you've got no bearings in there. I was like, yeah. He's like, well, I'll have to sell you some. I was like, why would he have to sell me some? I don't want any. He's like, well, you got to have bearings. I was like, oh, I don't want any bearings. It's more expense. But I've got these here, so I might as well use them. I'll have to go and get a socket and bang that in a bit more. Or I could probably just use the ball end of this hammer. That might get it to go in. Oh, there we go. I've done the trick. Right. Remember, never ever ever hit bearings. Oh, lovely jubbly. But that isn't good. So I'm going to have to shim that. Get some shim, put a shim or two on there, I reckon. Oh, look, these might work. What if they'll go on there? Oh, that's huge. What have we got here? I'll put that one on there, that little one there. What does that do? Does that do anything? Oh, it does. We now have a gap. That's done the trick. Lovely. There's a gap there now. Hopefully you can see that. A bit of a gap. It's rubbing on that clutch spring because the spring was a bit, well, it poked out a bit too far. I've got to try and find a screw now to put in there because I haven't got any screws. This one would be ideal, but something tells me it's going to be a bit too long, I reckon. It is a very long screw. I reckon it will bottom out, but let's try it anyway. Oh, it ain't that one. Might be alright. No, too long. Bottomed out way before it got to the end of the thread, so got to find one that's a bit shorter. There'll be one. There will be one. I've got a whole tray of screws here. Look. Screws, nuts and bolts. If not, I've got more in the other... Ah, what's that? I've got more in the other thing. Ah, look, this one might be alright. That one might be a good one. Let's try it. Let's try it. Does it thread in? It threads in. What's the... What is it? 2 mil. Lovely. Let's stick that on there like that. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh yes, didn't bottom out. Do that up nice and tight. Lovely jubbly. No spin on that bell whatsoever because the clutch spring is poking out. I could have took it off and yeah, that'll be right. Yeah, plenty of space. I could have took it off and in fact I probably could put a shim there actually, just to shim that up so the bearing's not flapping around. But is it really going to make that much difference? Is it really going to matter? Probably not. Do I really care? Not really. Anyway, that will soon wear down and that will be spinning around there in no time. I put a little washer that I found just behind that head of that bolt because just that way so it's not all on the bearing. Not that it matters, but that's what I've done anyway, so that'll be alright. That'll be fine. No problem now. Don't worry about that. There we go. All I've got to do is find some screws to screw it down. I did grind those engine mounts down, so it's a bit low. The bell actually rubs ever so slightly on the chassis plate, but that'll be alright. The exhaust is in. That's nicely done. This exhaust was actually donated to me. Someone gave it to me, a fellow subscriber. But I don't know what happened to him. He seems to have vanished. I think he got the ump with me because I didn't put this in the video quite quick enough for him. I didn't say thank you quite quick enough, and I think he got the ump with me. So that was the end of that. But you can't please everyone. But anyway, it's quite a nice exhaust. I reckon it will run really well. Oh sorry, I reckon this engine will run really well with this exhaust on it. I'm going to find some screws now to screw it down, find an air filter for it. I must have one somewhere. I've got a few air filters up here, but we don't need an air filter to start it up. We can start it up, find a battery to put in there, and oh, then I've got to find some wheels. That'll be the thing, finding some wheels. No idea where I'm going to find some wheels, but I will find some. Right, I'm back. So I put a couple of, well, I put 3 spring washers underneath the engine mounts to hold the engine. I'm missing one of the bolts for the engine, so I didn't put one there. We've got 3 bolts holding it in. That one's been missing for years. So I put 3 spring washers underneath there. Now the bell doesn't hit on the chassis anymore, so well, it does slightly, but nothing that I'm really worried about. It's getting quite late now, but I do want to start this up because I want to see what it's going to sound like with this exhaust, because this exhaust sounded really nice when it was on that engine and that RB, so I reckon it should sound pretty good. I need to get the screw on the end of there is like a bit corroded, so I need to take that out, give it a bit of lube, put it back in again, and that'll keep that nice and tight. Well, I need to get some wheels on this. Now I haven't got any wheels. I've got these wheels, but I haven't got any tyres for them as yet, so I'm going to nick the wheels back off of this buggy and put them on there, and then at least this one has some wheels on it. Then I can put the yellow wheels on this buggy, and well, once I eventually get some tyres, I'll have wheels and tyres on both. Right, got it all to a state now where I can start it up. Throttle linkage is linked up. I've had to put that in the way upside down the way it was before. Haven't got a battery in there yet. Receiver's in there, but I haven't got a battery in there, so I'm not going to use any transmitter. Don't know where the switch has gone. Where's the switch gone? Oh, there it is. There's no battery in there, see? So I'm not going to use any transmitter. I'm just going to start it out like that. Throttle's closed. There's a bit of fuel in there. Don't know what it is. I think that's 25%. It could be 20%. I think it's probably 25%. Let's see what she sounds like with this exhaust. Alright, let's do a little bit of primerage. Open it up a little bit. Oh yeah, plenty of primerage, that's for sure. Loads of that. I think it should sound pretty good with this exhaust. Oh yeah, that's going to be tinny. Definitely sounds a lot tinnier than it did with the original exhaust. I think I'll get a lighter flywheel for it. Might get a Reg one or maybe an Answer one. Put that on there with a 4-shoe clutch as well. See what that's like. this engine was always a massively reliable, it was one of the most reliable engines I've ever had. It always has a solid tick over, it always runs spot on. So I'm pretty glad I'm thought about putting this back in this buggy, really, to be honest with you. I'm going to improve the clutch. Probably going to put either a Reds or an Answer RC flywheel on there, like what I've got on the Nova. And I'll probably put a 4-shoe clutch, get a 4-shoe one probably, maybe a 3-shoe. At the moment I've got those FTX, the Carnage clutch shoes in there. It's a bit of a Frankenstein compilation at the moment, but I'll run it like that for a while. That don't quite fit on there, does it? That'll probably melt that, but that'll be alright. I'll get that grub screw freed up a bit and I'll better secure that a bit better. That's what I've got to do. I've got to repair the knuckle, because that's what broke. I think it was that one, actually. I think it was that one that broke. I'll get a new one of those, get a battery pack for it, hump pack, and then we can go and take this one out for a blast. Everybody loves a Kyosho MP9. I've got to get an air filter for it, I know that. There'll be one in here that will fit, and if there isn't, I'll nick one off of another car just for the test run. But don't listen to any dickhead who tells you can't start them up with an air filter on, because you can. As long as there's no dust around or any debris, you can start them up, they'll be absolutely fine. So there we go. I don't quite fit in there now with that exhaust. Look, if I want to run this exhaust more permanently, I'll have to do a little bit of cutting there on that body shell, I think. Thanks for watching, you lot. Enjoy yourselves, enjoy life, take care, and there'll be some more action with this coming up soon, because I've got the Kyosho radio gear in that, so that's got no problem in range. So I'll be taking this one down to work. I'll be using it on that track, on that bit of tarmac and everything, just enjoying it. And I want to see the performance with that exhaust. Obviously now I've got a different exhaust on it. The tune that I had on it before is going to be completely different. It's going to be well out, so I'm going to have to retune it anyway. So with the air filter that I'm going to put on it, plus that exhaust which is bigger, we'll see whether it's going to have any better performance and whether it will run any better. I think that'll be very interesting. So I'll catch you on the next one. All the best. Love life, love each other. Take care. Ciao for now.